Throughout the years of Yu-Gi-Oh, there has always been an established meta. And that meta goes on to influence what people typically play at the larger events. But what if you took a list of every deck from the September 2011 meta, randomized them, and put them into their own single elimination bracket tournament, allowing for exactly one of every different type of deck to be represented? In this series, Joe and I will be playing out a full single elimination bracket tournament. Each week, Joe and I will be playing a different deck, and whatever deck wins will move on, and whatever deck loses will be eliminated. The goal of this series is to see if the traditional meta will reign supreme, or if a new champion will be crowned. Be prepared for jank winning, meta losing, and for the format as we know it to be turned upside down. Welcome to the Tournament of Tournaments.
All right, today I'm going to try out Chainburn. Unfortunately, we've been playing pre-Photon Shockwave, which means cards like Zen Mains have obviously not been included in the decks. What that also means is I can't use One Day of Peace, which is arguably this deck's best card. One Day of Peace, although it might not seem like it, can start a chain that you then activate all your traps and whatnot to burn, chain strike, accumulated fortune, etc. And then at the resolution, for the rest of that turn, your opponent's next turn, either player can take damage, but that basically acts as a pseudo both Jar of Greed and Threatening Roar for this deck. Without it, we do need to accommodate a little bit. I have Chain Detonation, I've got the full suite of draw cards, obviously cards like Reckless Greed, Ojama Trio, kind of the traditional cards you would anticipate in Chain Strike. A very sort of traditional low-to-the-ground version. This deck has Magic Cylinder, and as you'll see in the actual gameplay, I really wish I put a card in other than Magic Cylinder. I really did not like the way Magic Cylinder performed. Besides that, I think relative to the card pool pre-One Day of Peace, this is more or less what a Chainburn deck should look like.
All right, let's talk about Mist Valleys real quick here, guys. So this deck is super cool. It's honestly kind of underrated as a deck. Like, I feel like this deck has kind of like had different iterations pop up in our Tengu server, and it's really done quite well in all honesty. This deck mostly plays off of the Divine Wind of the Mist Valley. This field spell says once per turn, if a wind monster you control returns to the hand, except during the damage step, you can special summon one level 4 lower wind monster from your deck. That's really, really cool. And basically synergizes with everything. So the main cards you can summon Tengu off of this. With this card, you can special a Tengu from deck using this. So like most of your deck is just a toolbox you can bring out. The other card to talk about is Gen X Blast Fan. This says when it's special summoned, you can add one dark Gen X monster from your deck to your hand. So a lot of the ways you trigger this is through using Gen X Ally Birdman. So let's say you bounce any wind monster with Birdman, you can special Blast Fan from deck and then search another Birdman. This opens up all kinds of crazy things. Even if you were to bounce the Blast Fan itself to special summon another Blast Fan from deck, you can then make like Ancient Fairy Dragon and special summon Blast Fan again from your hand to get another Birdman. You basically can search a lot of Birdmans in a turn, and these make a lot of plays happen. Especially in this deck, which is really, really cool. Other thing to talk about is Blast Fan is a spellcaster, so you can use it to make Arcanite Magician, which is a pretty powerful synchro monster that lets you kind of just pop 2 cards and gives you a little bit of a booty on board if you're like trying to play defensive. Super nice. Also, I guess another card to talk about is Mist Valley Falcon. When you're running this card in this deck, you have the opportunity to do some crazy OTK plays. So like, let's say this in conjunction with the Tengu, you can attack your opponent directly with Tengu, then attack with Mist Valley Falcon by bouncing your Tengu, and then you get to special summon a Tengu from deck because of Tengu's effect, as well as use the Divine Wind of the Mist Valley to special summon another monster from your deck, like Mist Valley Soldier or something, or even another Mist Valley Falcon to kind of loop that to do a ton of damage in a single turn. There's a lot of opportunities for this deck, in addition to the fact that this can also just bounce your Call of the Haunteds, your Phoenix Chains, or whatever. Like if they're dead, use them to make a synchro play, you can bounce and reuse them because of Mist Valley Falcon. So that's really, really nice. Compulsory has like a multifunctional like aspect to it in this deck, where you can use it to bounce your own monsters and special summon off of it, or you can use it to hit your opponent's monsters. So super cool. Really big fan of this deck. The last card we should probably talk about is Mist Valley Thunderlord. It's a quick effect that can target one card you control and return it to the hand. And if you do, it gains 500 attack. This can be activated in the damage step because it gains attack, which is kind of crazy. But for the most like practical use for it is it lets you bounce cards during your turn as well as your opponent's turn to generate advantage using the field spell. So you can kind of abuse this on both players' turns, which feels really, really good. So yeah, that's about it for this deck, guys. I'm super stoked to pilot it. It's definitely one of my favorite, like, I guess, like mid-tier decks of the format. But it kind of depends on how you build it. There's a lot of different ways. So yeah, without any further ado, we can hop into those games. All right, Tournament of Tournaments, episode 23. Nobody likes you when you're 23, and nobody likes Chainburn. That's my opening line for this episode.
No comment.
You know, I actually did win a regional with Chainburn before, so I'm a filthy Chainburn player myself. You know, I can't disrespect it too much. But you do get to go first, which is kind of scary, right? So
I've chosen paper.
All right. Oh. This deck main decks a Dark Bribe, and I am thankful.
This is true.
Wait, this card is so broken against your deck. Oh my god.
Oh no, what is this?
I'll show you.
Winged rhinos.
Yeah. Card's insane. Good luck using Magic Cylinder. Set 4 and pass. Alright. Well, I'm gonna summon the boy.
Sure.
I'm gonna attempt battle phase and attack.
I accept.
Nice. I'll then... I guess I'll... set 3 cards and pass.
Go.
Draw. Stand by main phase.
Yep.
I'm gonna enter battle phase.
Sure.
Nice. There you go. Right back at you. Reckless Greed. That is fine. Interesting. I will enter battle phase and attack again.
Before I enter battle.
Sure.
Okay.
Are there any chains to that?
No.
No, we're good. All right. Really don't even want to like summon another monster because of like the risk of lava golem. I think I just pass.
Go.
Draw. Okay. This is pretty good. I'm gonna activate Divine Wind of the Mist Valley.
Yeah. In response, I'm gonna chain Legacy of Yada Garasu.
Sure.
I will chain Detonation.
Oh my god.
Oh, hold on. Let me think about this for a sec.
Oh yeah, you want this back in the hand.
Yeah, but I want to do this all before Divine Wind resolves. I guess Divine Wind...
Yeah.
Would it recognize if Winged Rhinos return to your hand in this chain?
I don't think it would. Because this is in response to the activation of Divine Wind.
It's an if effect, I guess, if we use... Yeah, okay. So I'm still gonna do it in the chain. I guess I'll lose out on chain detonation, but okay. Chain link 3.
Sure. Okay. That's fine. Wait, you can't do it multiple if it's in the same chain?
Upon activation, it doesn't recognize the other copy. Nothing in the current chain upon activation is the same card.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. Resolve.
Yeah.
And you take 500.
All right. I'll take the 500. Now I think the play is to normal summon Tengu.
Yep.
And oh shit, actually I don't want to normal summon Tengu, I don't think. Or do I? No, I don't want to normal summon Tengu. I'm going to normal summon Miss Valley Falcon.
Sure.
Then I will bounce the Falcon to hand to special summon Birdman.
Sure.
I'll activate Divine Wind of the Mist Valley.
Yep.
I'm gonna special summon Genix Blast Fan. Activate the effect of Genix Blast Fan.
Yep.
I will search another Birdman. I will then synchro. So this gets banished. Synchro these two and make an Arcanite Magician. I'll then activate its effect to pop this. There's the magic cylinder. I'll then activate Reborn. Special summon back the Blast Fan. Activate Blast Fan's effect.
Yep.
Adding another Birdman to the hand. I will then enter battle phase and attack into presumably a Swift Scarecrow. Yeah. All right. I will.
So I just know you have one Birdman in hand, and
I have two Birdmen.
Two Birdmen. Okay,
yeah. And I'll pass to you.
Start with this.
Sure. Secret barrel is fine. Okay, so I'll take 12. All right. Draw for turn. Well, this is the time to do it. Go standby main. I will activate Birdman, so bounce this to hand, and I'll special Birdman.
Yeah.
I'll trigger Divine Wind.
Yeah.
I will special summon. That's pretty good, actually. Miss Valley Soldier. Is there a response to this?
No. How many levels is this? This is what, 11? Do we have a level 11? I don't think so.
No, there isn't a level 11.
All right. I guess we have Arcanite
I will.
2, so 10. Okay, we'll still fine.
Yeah. I will normal summon Tengu.
Thinking.
I will synchro for 7.
Yeah.
And I'll special summon Ancient Fairy Dragon. Activate Tengu.
Yeah.
I'll special summon Tengu. I will activate the effect of Ancient Fairy Dragon targeting my Divine Wind of the Mist Valley.
All right, thinking. Sure.
Nice. I'll gain 1,000 and add 1.
Yeah.
All right. I will then synchro for 8 and make a scrap dragon and get another Tengu. Is that okay?
Yeah, Tengu's good.
All right, cool. Heavy Storm.
All right.
In response to the secret barrel, I'll judge it. Nice!
All right. No counter traps.
I would never. Drop return. Normal summon the best card in this deck.
This is such a silly matchup because of this card. Do you know how this card works against this deck?
I know that I can respond to any of your like magic cylinders and stuff and bounce it.
It's even more ignorant than that.
Wait, why? What am I
This
missing?
card is not once per turn and it's not a cost. So like all of these cards that cannot be activated if the card's been activated. When I go trap, you can go activate. And if I go trap, you can just activate this again. And then there's 2 winged rhinos in the same chain. So it like stops my entire deck from doing anything.
That's kind of good.
Yeah.
Now I have another weird ruling that is going to come up because I'm definitely going to try to do it. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I have no idea if it works or not, though. But I will poke for 18.
All right, sure. Chain detonation is not one of them, but like chain, like accumulated fortune and chain strike just gets screwed over by this card. The one of in your deck, by the way.
What? I know. I opened it 2 games in a row. Well, now I feel bad because I know this now.
Activate is Chainlink 1.
Sure.
Chainlink 2.
Okay. Now, I'm going to try this. and you tell me if this works or not, all right?
Okay.
I would like to chain Maxi and then debunk my Maxi.
Yeah. Sure.
All right. Nice. Attack for 18.
Yeah.
Go.
I guess I'll play around a counter trap.
Sure. Sure. Also fine. Yeah, that's fine too.
So 15.
So I'll take 15. That's fine. All right, winged rhinos.
He's putting in work.
Really is. Guess I'll do this.
Sure.
Bonk. Beautiful. Dang, it's really crazy to think about that card's not once per turn. My God.
It's not even once per chain.
Yeah, I know. That's old Yu-Gi-Oh cards at their finest.
All right, good.
All right. $18.
Jar of Greed.
I will attempt Wing Rhinos effect.
Okay.
Is that okay? Alright. Winged Rhinos bounce the hand. And you draw a card. And then I go to Divine Wind.
Yeah.
I will special summon Blast Fan.
Yeah.
And use Blast Fan's effect.
Yeah.
To search a Birdman. I don't really want to swing in with this because Winged Rhinos is just pure safety. So I'll go main 2. And we're in no rush, so I'm just gonna normal summon the Winged Rhinos. And pass back to you.
Go.
Draw. Stand by main. I guess I'll bounce this to hand to special Birdman. And activate Divine Wind.
Sure.
I'll get another Blast Fan and use its effect to add a Birdman.
Sure.
effect.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. So let's see. I don't know how much I take. Half of 65, 3250. Yeah. All right. And I still have a normal summon, so I'm going to activate another Divine Wind. Normal summon Blast Fan. Return this to the hand to special summon the Birdman. I will use the Divine Wind of the Mist Valleys effect to special summon out a Tengu. And then I'm going to synchro for 7.
Yeah.
Nice. What'd you have?
Technically, I had a Swift Scarecrow, but there was nothing I could draw that would be enough to burn, because one of my cards is Legacy of Yada, so not enough.
Yeah, I had a Call of the Haunted, which is why I felt comfortable getting rid of the Winged Rhinos, and in conjunction with the Solemn, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna definitely wipe. But yeah, seeing the Solemn and the Winged Rhinos is pretty much all I needed. I mean, this deck does run Dark Bribe, to be fair, and my question is, like, don't you have a window of opportunity to respond to Max C if I'm going to debunk? So, like, I could miss the debunk?
It's a counter trap.
Yeah, so like, I can, like, that Max C play works to cut off the chain burn, right?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Wait. I don't see why you wouldn't. Counter traps.
Yeah.
The best.
Yeah. Because, yeah, that was kind of my other logic, is doing something like that with those shenanigans. Which I think makes sense. But honestly, I was realizing I probably shouldn't have done it when you were doing draw cards. But I guess at that point, the next chain was going to be Accumulated Fortune as well. So
yeah, it shuts off all of those.
Could have been. Yeah. Well, damn.
I felt pretty good if you didn't have Solemn there, too.
Yeah. You had a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, the Solemn was too crazy, and then, I mean, honestly, I had no idea the Winged Rhinos thing.
Oh,
but
it's the
even
craziest
regardless
card.
of
That
it,
card just totally styled on this deck, because you'd go Legacy of Yadi be like Chain Rhinos. And then it's like, okay, you just got up to Chain Link 2, but now when I go Secret Barrel, you just go Chain Rhinos.
That's so funny. I had no idea that that's what it was.
See, because if you read this card, it says if multiple effects with the same name are in the chain, you can't activate it.
Yeah.
So if basically I have to function with quick plays, like you need to use these, so I can go like trap, you go this, I go quick play, and then I can start to use Chain Link 4 and higher accumulated fortunes. But if I have multiple accumulated fortunes, you can just use the Rhinos on the accumulated fortune I activate, and then I can't use the multiples. It just like completely shuts down this deck, this card.
Yeah, I didn't even think about how, like, well, I mean, honestly, I think even, like, having the fact that I'm running a field spell deck and have Ancient Fairy Dragon to just gain 1,000, I feel like that makes a big difference. Because, like, Chain Burn really has to expend a lot of resources to, like, lower your life points, and that, every amount matters, so being able to gain, like, upwards of 3,000 in a game, I think makes actually a huge difference versus the deck. But yeah, the fact that I just kind of nutso saw Winged Rhinos as a one of both games is kind of crazy. But I didn't even, I was just thinking of the fact that I was like, I want something, because like the way that a lot of times you lose to this deck is through the magic cylinders or the, whatever the other card is, I forget its name.
I should have decided, I don't even really like magic cylinders or deep wall, so I probably should decide.
Yeah.
Honestly, I should have just cut them from the deck. I just couldn't think of anything better to play other than magic cylinder. Like maybe I could have just played a random burn card like Fire Darts or something, but I couldn't really think of any that I wasn't already using. Maybe Tremendous Fire, like, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that card either, just because of kind of what you were saying of like, or like, I feel like when you do your chain, like if you're playing as someone who understands chain burn and they know that if they attack, they're running the risk of magic cylinder, then like you eventually, if you're gonna like go through all your chains and like draw a bunch of cards or try to get your accumulated fortune to resolve, there's always going to be a single card left set, right? And that's where it's like, okay, I know which one that is, and that's where you can play around it.
Yeah, this card is terrible. I should not have this in my deck.
Yeah, it feels really, really bad. Because, yeah, once you catch on to the Chainburn, that's literally the only way you lose, is you just kind of force it. But, dang, Winged Rhinos, spicy.
Yeah.
I would have never guessed.
Yeah, card is amazing against this deck.
So, we actually had someone play Chainburn in our Tengu tournament just very recently, like this last weekend. And he was running a Piper Kinka package just to have, like, that extra draw power of, like, summoning that every turn. And I didn't think that was that bad. Like, I felt like that makes sense because that's, like, probably a better replacement for those dimensional walls and the magic cylinders, is just having that I normal summon and draw an extra card every turn.
I mean,
in this deck, I don't think that's that bad.
I mean, I replaced them with Poison of the Old Man, some of the card choices. So I did put those in there. One thing I did is I diversified. You had 3 Threatening Roars, and I put a Wabaku in there because if you have both of these, you can't activate 2 Roars in the same chain and then use Accumulated Fortune, but you can go Wabaku Roar and then Accumulated Fortune under dire situations.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Just to diversify the chain link names. I love Chain Detonation in this deck, so I put those in there. This card is good.
Yeah, that card's cool. I actually hadn't really like seen much of that card before, but I do like the fact that it just adds itself back to hand.
Yeah, it was one of the original Chain Burn pieces. I mean, usually it's good for, let's say, 1,000 damage in a game, which isn't amazing, but it just adds free chain links.
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. Just especially, I mean, honestly, just to give yourself recursion of a card to constantly get back every time. I think that makes sense. That's like the build that was on the website, I think was based off of a list that topped like shortly after, but I think it was when 1 Day of Peace became legal, so I had to like cut that, and it like
this deck gets
I personally played this in Zoo format. Like it was right when Zoo came out. I was at YCS Seattle and I played in like one of those mini regional flights, and I knew everyone would play pure Zoo, and that was with like Card of Demise and the other pot card that lets you banish and draw.
Yeah,
it was nuts. That was nuts.
1 Day of Peace
but here it's way harder.
Is legitimately a huge boost to what this deck is trying to do. So
absolutely.
Playing before Photon Shockwave is a little bit of a disadvantage because Chainburn gets a real boost with that card.
Yeah, well, any weird stall deck or anything like that gets a massive buff from that card. That card was so insane. But yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I felt like this deck is like kind of hard to win with in this format. I did not think about this matchup at all in the sense of how, I mean, one, I didn't know the Winged Rhinos thing, but two, just like I didn't even think about the fact that like having the
this is like randomly a weird like a legitimately bad matchup because this card exists, and you can just tutor it, right? You can just search it off of this field spell, like.
Yeah, I can special off the field spell. So like even if I didn't see it, like there's ways to get it. Although the only issue is I basically have to eat a magic cylinder probably if you do it that way, where you probably attack with Falcon, or eventually you have to do like Birdman or something. Birdman can get you there with any wind monster.
Yeah.
But yeah, this Mist Valley deck's pretty cool. I've seen a lot of iterations. There recently was like a Crystal Beast version where you can like set up like the full Crystal Beast field spell and like use like triple Ancient Fairy Dragon, and you basically just like get a full back row of Crystal Beasts plus the field spell, so you get the negate and the extra draw, and you can do it all turn one with like a Summoner Monk in this deck, which is kind of cool. So but yeah, this deck has all kinds of different builds. We have Falcon Punch in the pool, which is like just kind of abusing how broken Mist Valley Falcon weirdly is. So we'll get to see that a bit later. But yeah, overall, I mean, can't complain about this performance or matchup. I'm honestly happy to see Chainburn die because it is not fun to play against in the slightest. All right, guys, that is going to wrap it up for this week's episode of Tournament of Tournaments. Shoutouts to Joe for dealing with that extremely tilting looking match. I had no idea that Mist Valley was such a good matchup into Chainburn, but now we all know, right? So, shoutouts to him for being a good sport. But yeah, as a reminder, we release new episodes of this series every single Friday, so make sure you guys are subscribed so you can tune in to not only support me and Joe and support my channel's growth, but also, you see the new episodes come up as they come up. But yeah, other than that, guys, thank you so much for watching, and make sure you guys have a great time dueling today.